to Belgium in 2003. Well, I was becoming an empty nester, so I had more time on my hands. And it was presented at church that they were looking for a team. And it was for something that I could do. They were looking for people to go to a print shop. And at the time, my husband and I owned a print shop. And I did the bindery, and that's what this was for. So I thought, oh, well, this is just what God wanted me to do. So. We folded and collated and stuffed, took inventory, everything. This ministry did printing of biblical literature. It was called Biblical Literature Fellowship. Now it's called Biblical Literature Francophone in French. And it went all over French-speaking countries. Sunday school curriculum, tracts, books, that kind of thing. Well, it was all couples except me and one other woman, so it was a little lonely, which I remember breaking down crying one day, but they were all very nice people, so that was kind of tough. And then physically it was fine. I was younger, 20 years younger then, so I was climbing up and down really tall ladders, taking inventory of books, and one day I went out to paint the propane tank. It needed paint. So I said, I'll do it. So you just had to do anything that had to get done that day. I'd have to say it was meeting the people that were there already doing the work. And there was a man that was kind of in charge of it. He was an American, but he had spent his whole life in ministry. And he was a missionary. He and his wife were missionaries in Africa for many years. They raised their family there. He had great stories of disciplining his children in an African environment. And just, what other people are willing to do for the Lord. Just put their whole life into it, 24/7. Well, leading up to it was interesting because we were encouraged to write letters so we could get donations because it wasn't cheap. You had to have an airfare all the way to Europe. And so I did that. So I had to write. I've never asked anybody for money before other than, my mom. So that was interesting. And then we had meetings to get to know each other ahead of time in different people's homes. Steve Nichols even told us how to pack. We even had a packing seminar one night. But so that's what kind of led up to it. We got to know each other before we left. But and afterwards, it was interesting because then that same fall, I started BSF for the first time, Bible Study Fellowship, and then it kind of led me into growing even more. You're a different person, and just the thought of the other people that we met that put their life on, that was their life, was running this print shop, helping with families. We stayed in a house, so there was a host couple there that would feed us, and then we'd go to the print shop. It was a separate location. And then one day we did go into northern France, where they also had a print shop. And then afterwards I made a movie, which is probably lying around here somewhere at church. I did find my copy of it. So then I did a whole recap of it and made a movie about the whole trip. So that was kind of fun too. Well, I think any time that you're spending 24/7 with God, it's going to make you closer. And then you learn. And we did have some devotions every day. So we did do that every day, like you do in Mexico. And you become just a little bit closer every time you do something, every time you do his work, including, Wednesday Club or whatever. They wouldn't regret it. I just say go. You have nothing to lose. Usually it's their short term. No one's asking you to devote your entire life to it. It's usually a week or, two. And it's what God wants us to do. He wants us to go making disciples of all nations. And that's how we're supposed to do it. So we're basically doing his work, being his hands and feet in the world. So, yeah, do it. Go for it. We did do some sightseeing, so it wasn't, all work all the time. And, but I did not eat mussels in Brussels like some of them did. I even took a French class before I left at the junior college. And it didn't really help because, like, when you're in a big city, like Brussels, we did a little shopping, walking around. The people that work in those shops speak 4 different languages.
Right.
And one of them is English. So it's completely different than any other kind of, and we balk at learning 2 languages in this country. So, and they learn 4. Okay, now is this for real now? Or you already did it?
That's it.
Oh. I would have tried a little harder. I thought it was just preliminary. Oh.
I mean,
okay.
we can go over any of them again if you'd rather change
No, that's okay.
enhance your answers.
No, that's probably okay. If you think it's fine.
Yeah.